going to be kind of a tough video to make because it's physical ailments and problems that are really painful. And, I've only slept for about 3 hours tonight and stuff like that. So you have to bear with me. I'm kind of, the cramping and the pain is not fun, so it sucks. But, that's life in Las Cruces, right? All the geniuses and the, I live in a town where, I've sat and had conversations with people, in the military industry here. One guy was a retired Halliburton guy, and we ended up at the soup kitchen and him making up for the fact that he was such a lousy fucking Christian and still probably was until he probably passed away. I haven't seen Lewis. He's probably passed away from being exposed to chemical warfare because he worked at Halliburton. He said, they used to have the cameras and the spy equipment looking into people's houses and in the Middle East and laugh and go, Halliburton don't care if Arab. He said it was pretty fun working there. I was like, you got to be kidding me. He said Halliburton don't care if an Arab baby dies sucking on a mama's tit. You're like, God, damn, that's just disgusting. That you go to the store with people like that, that you go to church with people like that you vote for president with people like that, right? And this guy used to tell me what an egomaniac I was because the Jesus in his head was way better than me. It's like, but the Jesus in your head doesn't get up to stop Halliburton from being assholes like you. Then he'd get mad at me, and every time I'd walk in the soup kitchen, he'd go, hey, King David. And I go, it's King Ralph. You want to go bowling at Buckingham Palace? Yeah, if you're gonna try to insult somebody, do it right? King David's my relative from long, far, far away, long ago, right? So, well, because I'm intelligent, I'm not claiming to be King David, but I am a lot like King David. And I have the surveillance evidence to prove it. And Halliburton knows it, and they suck. And everybody knows it, right? Only people won't. They're afraid that Halliburton will do the same thing to the Arabs and the Mexicans and the Guatemalans and the Venezuelans and stuff that they're doing to me, right? And I'm a traitor, I'm a traitor to my own place where I was born, in the place where they threaten to blow everybody up with nuclear weapons if they can't abuse them over an invention called money and totally deny us the peace of Lord Jesus Christ. I am not a traitor to Lord Jesus Christ, King David, King Solomon, Abraham, no, Muhammad. No, I'm not a traitor to that which is right and that which is truthful and that which is loving and that which is faithful. So I correct your technology. You don't correct me. You just abuse me. And then the technology eventually has to exterminate you, which I don't want because I'm not, this is Rockefeller and Rothschild's baby. This isn't me. I'm not this type of person. I'm not the type of person to, brand off with your gun so bright. Won't you shoot my wife tonight? Then how the cowboys loved him as they shout out, right off the red gun cowboy, you'll go down in history, right? But I'm the focal point of the perfect commands of the glow of the messiahs. Okay, not Messiah. Relativity, life's eternal and grace is infinite. Okay. For some reason, each egotistical, we don't care if the baby's dying sucking on the mama's tit while we're poisoning them both to death. Genocidal group thinks that, they're going to win and their ego is going to dominate everybody else's ego. And you're like, no, all that's going to do is just get everybody killed and then have an idiot at NYU saying he wants to put his consciousness as he perceives it on a robot to see if the cats turn into flying cats to eat all the rats in New York City after we kill off all the people. And that's just fucking sick and insane. And I'm not making this stuff up. They show me this stuff on TV and I watch it. And this guy's like, it was on the History Channel and he's like an award-winning best professor. And you're like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I don't want this man even talking to people, especially not children. I mean, he's talking to adults at NYU, if that's an adult, Okay, let's do science projects like we're doing the Tundra, the Barbarian, the Planet of the Apes, and the Star Trek and the Star Wars all at the same time, and not even consider the applied physics of the lowest period there, globally. Islam, there you go. And so you're like sitting there going, gosh, damn. And then they had this lady, Ramani. It's not like Romney, like the stadium in Logan, Utah, the Romney family of Mitt Romney and all that. She's from India. Okay, namaste. It's Ramani, Ramani. Okay, and that's how it's spelled, like Ramadan, Ramani. And this kid's got a podcast, and he's kissing her ass and she's kissing his, and they're talking about behavioral sciences, and she's labeling all the behaviors of people that have bad behaviors and that are, have behavioral disorders, right? And I listened to it for like 2 minutes. And I said, okay, I'm blowing this fucking popsicle stand. I'm not going to sit here and listen to these two people. So he goes, talk about people that are being abused by economics and offer no solution to stop the abuse from economics. Fuck this shit. I'm blowing this. Yeah, she looks good in a red dress, or she thinks, but she talks. It's like, she's wearing a nice red dress. You can see it, and the camera shows her legs and everything. She's got nice legs, low self-esteem, right? And so you're sitting there looking at it going, fuck. This community is horrid, okay? I live in Las Cruces, New Mexico. I was born here July 19th, 1966. And I can't say they've gotten any better since July 19th, 1966 in this valley. With the data centers coming in to use all the water to be in. And then you sit there and you think, what are they playing at? Are they trying to use all the water for the data center? It's like, will the data center be able to withstand if you fuck up the fault line by, you guys have, we've been fucking with that river for economics ever since the dumbasses in the Roosevelt administration, right? And because they make lots of money manipulating and doing all that stuff, there's never been really any impetus to change that ecological disaster and help repair the ecosystem so it doesn't become an ecological disaster, right? And so you sit there and you look at it and you're like, well, a dog could figure this out, right? If, damn, sorry. Sorry. Okay, feel like I'm giving birth here, yeah. Yeah, it's been, I'll pass out for like a half an hour to an hour. I'll wake up and then the cramps go. You go in there and try to use the bathroom. A little bit of puke, a little bit of vial. You know how your teeth fill when you get the vial out and stuff. You blow your nose and you drink water because, better out than in. And then you go lay back down and you're still in pain, but, it's just like it's a little more tolerable so you can pass out for another 30 minutes, right? And it's been this way, Mary Jane girls all night long. And you sit there and you have to talk to yourself and talk to others throughout time. And they tell you, it's your body. Claim it's your body. It's not their science's project. Okay, this is your body. Just because they're abusing it, life's eternal, grace is infinite. You tell your body to relax and do your best to try to get through this. And that's the best help you can get from someone like Judah Krishnamurti, Dithiro Suzuki, Blaise Pascal, Sun Yat-sen, other people that have been treated similarly throughout time by perverts who ninjutsu. You're like, oh, fuck me, seriously? Well, let's make another movie about James Cavell novels instead of Stand Up for the Lord's Prayer. Yeah, let's apply that in physics. It's like, yeah, And you have all these experts and these people, and they're not experts. They're insane. And then you're like, what? It's like, and then if they poison you to death and you die from it, they'll tell everybody, well, he killed himself because he didn't go to our experts to get anecdotes for, well, my healthcare card? Shit. Last time I went on my healthcare card, they took blood tests, said there's crap in your body that shouldn't be in your body. That's what I told you. Okay, and then now we're going to send you to a psychological clinic to put crap in your body that counteracts the crap in your body that you say you didn't put there. Right? And then we'll give you money to take the drugs till it kills you. I'm like, no, that's okay. Thanks. I'll just, you guys, what we're going to do there is saw off the top of your head and take out their clot, right? And there's no thanks. I'll just die, right? So I ain't going back. Oh, hell no. I went back to the dentist to get the tooth crack that they're fixed. The little hygienist girl looked at it and said, oh, I can't work on this. I'm not certified or qualified. It doesn't have, it's not infected, so it's not a health problem at this time. So kick him out and, see if he can. I go try to get another date up, and they said, well, no, there's no. That was back in October of last year, And they said there's nothing available till December of last year. And then they gave me other people to go, or something like that. It was like months, And that was then, but, the tooth's still the same. And everything's, my body's so amazing. Everything's pretty okay. I have the cracked tooth in the back from the chemical poisoning from Halliburton. Don't care. They don't care. In order to care, you have to be a compassionate person that believes in the truth of a Messiah, and then wants to live that truth, because life's eternal and grace is infinite and relativity. You understand it? Not even Einstein could explain it real well. No. Jesus did, but they turned it into comic book sales for a bunch of genocidal operators that do business with, the pull parchment or whatever, to Krishnamurti addressing the United Nations in 1985, and him telling everybody, just go home and radically change and stop buying all their bullshit. And then that's the best hope you guys have for actually, changing the world. And then the people that were wealthy, and the one from South America that agreed with Krishnamurti, and the guy from Germany who hated it because he grew up, killing people for the government, the Third Reich, and it made him feel horrible, and he was a Holocaust survivor. He was probably like a 13 or 14-year-old boy that had to go mass murder people after Hitler killed off all his top jocks in dick measuring with Stalin, trying to kill off all the Jews and liquidate their assets, because that was big money back then, right? And so oh God, most people couldn't read a history book and comprehend it for 5 fucking minutes. The Von Trapp family, they just made that shit up. It's a puppet show. God damn, what do you think, you're Don Brown or something like that? Angels and Demons? The Da Vinci Code, yeah? And you're just like, God, it's not that complex. It's just like Jesus always tells me in prayer when I'd watch the John Brown stuff. I'd go, what is it? He goes, it's just to make money, Earl. Oh, that's reassuring. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel like all the people that are rich and famous with lots of money and are influential are going to stand up for the truth of the Messiah and live his love. They didn't do it year one. They're not doing it. They didn't do it Haile Selassie's time. They're not doing it during early bird's time. So that basically says, there was a science project most likely that moved people through a wormhole from year one to like 3,000 or so. But that's the only time that they say they're willing to live the Lord's Prayer. It's like, so we make it. Well, that's good to know, that we do make it. But, that's 1,000 years from Y2K. So you're like sitting there looking at it going, how much can the human race, apparently, in the year 3510, got to come in, he ought to be here by then. No, God's omniscient, omnipotent. God damn, can anybody read and comprehend a book? Seriously, serious fucking. So you're like, guys, it's particularly disturbing. It's very disturbing, because you're like sitting there going, all the people that say they love Jesus obviously don't love Jesus, because they'll sit and ask for Rockefeller money from Jesus and watch the guy like Jesus in their generation be anonymously tortured on social media for standing up for all of them to stand up to live the commands that are perfect of Jesus, right? So all those people in country, well, I'm a Muslim and this is a Muslim nation. Fuck you. Seriously. Okay, look, it's a bag of hammer for a bag of bricks. They're all claiming to be Muslims. Now they're going to beat you with them until you accept them as Muslims, right? We have $1 million showing up to see a mass murderer get buried, right? Like, yeah, well, makes you feel a little bit better about the United States of America. Well, because 1 million people showed up to see Martin Luther King Jr. get buried, and all he, really wanted was Barack Obama to be president. It's like, well, and how many people did Barack Obama? Okay. And Jimmy Carter? Okay. And Joe Biden? No, and Jimmy Carter's just... all the people, all Jimmy Carter's known for is now being able to scare the Iranians enough to get the hostages back, right? Yeah, but why did the Iranians take hostages? Because the CIA was mass murdering people in that country while Jimmy Carter was president, talking he was going to bring peace in Israel and Egypt, while the corporation was busy mass murdering people in Iran and Iraq, because that was where more of the oil was at the time, and it was a little bit, and bait and switch and shit, So I didn't get it. I was young and dumb. I was a kid, I don't even, no, Begin and Sadat, no. If they did know, they wouldn't say anything. They're just looking out after their own interest and their own perception of people. And it's like, okay, it's one big planet covered by one big body of water with one people made by, God, that omniscient, omnipotent essence, thing. If you made, I don't know how to say even made. It's not like, there's a cartoon character going, I took 100 pounds of clay. Now you're alive, blew us up like a balloon and shit. Now we're balloon characters at a goddamn Carvana site and shit, You know what I'm saying? Or a big balloon mascot at a front door to the university, and you're like, wow, what's this? This is a brothel. Well, it's the University of Georgia. We're called the Bulldogs. Okay, it was wrong to do that to your boss. Why? She thinks she's the dog. It's more appropriate than anybody. Hey, Bark Boy. Well, you guys haven't figured it out yet? She went to a brothel called the University of Georgia, and they call themselves dogs. And you got to give a dog a bone. I was trying, but she turned me down. Which one of you is boning her? You're probably going to get promoted. That's what I thought. Okay, it's true. It's nothing so-so because I know. What if she don't like to be boned? Well, then all the girls are getting promoted and all the guys are saying, hey, don't piss her off or she'll fire you. Oh, how Devil Wears Prada 3. Right. So, Earl, I'm tired, man. This shit sucks. Cereal. This shit really sucks. It sucks, living in a corporation that calls itself a nation under God. It's like, okay, God's omniscient, omnipotent. How stupid. Okay, reading comprehension is just not there. And you get all these professionals. Has Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's addressed that. The way scientists looks at it, okay, he's a scientist. Okay, the way a human being looks at scientists. Go watch Earl's YouTube. This is Earl's YouTube. It's not really mine. It's a corporation's public forum for economics, and they allow me a place to come up here and get publicly flogged and be freedom, and everybody just ignore it because he's just he should be trying to dummy it down and make lots of money there. Yeah, then I could go to Taylor Swift concerts. Why would I want to do that when I can? I got a vid box for about 10 years ago from Heartland, America, for like $60, and I can now download, because it's already paid for, as long as we have the internet, I can download all the songs I want for the monthly payment for the internet and the $60 from Heartland. And every time I download a song, the price that I paid for the vidbox and, well, the price we pay for the internet does not diminish. It remains consistent. It's the same price for life. I don't know. I'm just being facetious. Get in, you'll get it for life. For life, okay. Is that in technical terms, like when they give people, 25 years to life, and then I'm eligible for parole, and you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I'm dealing with morons and idiots here. Morons. Okay, they're Aristotelian and Ghazalian, right? You do know Al-Ghazali didn't explain Islam properly, because it's hard when the guy who lived it dies and the people that murder over it wrote it down into things that, don't apply in physics on a supercomputer, much less a quantum computer. And so, yeah, well, they know this. Guys, if you think we're barely figuring out, okay, that the linguistics errors in all documentation for religions are heinous and don't apply in physics because Elon Musk is a genius, you're dumb as fuck. Okay, and that's that. I mean, shit. That's all I gotta say about that. I may not be a smart man, but I know what love is. I don't have a smartphone. No, this is not called it's a Samsung Galaxy 10, bought on clearance at Walmart during the COVID. And then I got fired during the COVID because the chemicals at the grocery store that I worked with were killing me, more rapidly than, their business, operations could handle. I can't tell. I don't know, what they're doing with the eternal spirit of Adam, Moses, David, Jesus, John, Earl. I don't know what they're doing with me. Okay, they don't know what they're doing with me. Guys, these people are insane. If every time they talk, every time their professionals talk about behavioral disorder, narcissism, everything they label. Okay, wait, you're labeling this person a narcissist, right? Is this person living the applied physics of the Lord's Prayer? No. Well, then why are you labeling them? Aren't they your invention for your profession? So don't you need them to be a professional who's trending and makes lots of money and is an expert about quote unquote narcissism? So then in turn, doesn't that make you a narcissist as well? Doesn't it make you have behavioral disorders as well? Where most people, if this person commits to you in a relationship. I remember the psychologist at fucking Mesa Community College when we were talking about the psychology of the movie of The Last Mohicans that last movie me and my mom ever went to see before she was killed by her cancer treatment. There wasn't anything you could do about it. We didn't have mass media and social media and YouTube and Facebook. And besides, they treat me worse than they treated my mother. And how's mass media, to do a car wash to pay for my funeral working for me on public forums? It's not. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay. And I don't want money. I just want everybody to live the Lord's Prayer so we don't kill each other over money. I need a $3 million insurance policy to make sure you're okay if somebody kills me. Cha-ching! My boyfriend just got a great idea. And we watch it on Dateline in 2020 all the time. It was really sad. I had this woman, she was an immigrant, and then she came here, and she was younger than me and way hotter than me. And for some reason, she wanted to kill me to make insurance money off of killing me. And then use that insurance money to make herself comfortable, and then bring in hotter guys from her country to have sex with them, and she's going to trust them. Yeah. Yeah. Is it me, baby, or just a brilliant disguise, right? Because you dirty damn shell don't trust yourself, right? And then you get all the celebrities and the top techs and all the geniuses, I don't trust anybody. That's how you get ahead. Ahead of what? Okay. If you're not living truthfully and you're stuck in lie, how are you ever going to get ahead of lie? Okay. And how are you ever going to avoid truth? Like I explained to my sister, about the thing about Cochise. And she sits there and goes, that's not happening right now. Yes, it is. Why? Because the truth that sustains Cochise and the truth that sustains us, so we can say Cochise and understand the life of Cochise, is the same truth that sustains all of us eternally. Okay? So, yes, we are living the same truth that Cochise lived and still lives through us. Life's eternal, grace is infinite. But lie is making it more and more difficult to try to live any kind of truth. But it was very difficult because of lie and abuse and selfishness to live during Cochise's time. It was very hard. You lived in wickiups. You got on horses. You were transhumance. You went from the White Mountains in the summertime back down to the Huachucas in the wintertime, and so on and so forth. Okay. It was very difficult, if depending on what the other human beings were doing and how it affected the weather patterns, if you had enough water to survive at one place or the other during the wintertime. I mean, it was very mas difficile, You can't do anything about what the Chinese are doing with the Great Wall of China, what the Egyptians are doing with their pyramids, what the Mayans are doing with theirs, and how they're radically, egotistically fucking up the ecosystem. And those radical effects affect you in Death Valley, the Gobi Desert, the Sahara Desert, the Willamette Valley, so on and so forth, right? So it was very difficult, and it's even more difficult today. And everybody, we have these massive weather reactions to all this insanity, but we're prepared because we have food products in cans, and we have idiots in vehicles that can move people around and say, "Hey, FEMA, you're my hero." It's like that joke about the people on a roof in a flood, praying to Jesus to come and save them. And a guy comes by in a boat and says, I said, "No, it's all right. I'm waiting. I got help coming. I'm waiting on it." Then a helicopter comes by, and It's, I got help coming. I'm waiting. I got the best help ever. I got he drowns. He ends up in the pearly gates, goes to heaven, and goes to Jesus. Why didn't you help me? You didn't take the boat or the helicopter. Boom, boom, right? And so it's like magical thinking. Yes. How much money does magical thinking make? Lots of money. That's why we have money. That's why people have lots of money. Magical thinking. That sucks. Yeah, don't do that. Why not? You'll become Gene Roddenberry and what's the other guy's name? Skywalker Ranch? George Lucas. Yeah, and they're insane. They are totally insane. People watch and they go to these things called Comic-Con. They all dressed up like Gene Roddenberry's imagination. They all, homage to, the great Gene Roddenberry. Without him, how would we have survived all the people that turned Jesus into a comic book character and kill in his name, but totally disobey everything he says? And you're just like, shit. It's more than disturbing. It's disgusting. Okay. To watch and listen to these people talk. They talk in front of children. They encourage children to grow up to talk like them and act like them. And then if there's somebody like me, he's crazy. He thinks he's God. He's crazy. He thinks he's better than Nobel Prize winners. Okay, Nobel Prize winners will take money from corporations that mass murder people through bad science projects. And I won't. And you're going to tell me, you think you're better than Brian Cox? No, I know for a fact I'm better than Brian Cox. Okay. We don't have supercomputing anymore. We have quantum computing. We don't have, the little, the cell phones. Everything gets radically different every day. Okay. And if you think technology thinks that, technology can do math better than you can and explain history and science better than you can. And if you really think that quantum computing thinks Brian Cox is a better human being than Ralph Earl Parsons Jr., me and George Strait, as we know, have oceanfront property for make-believe money near the Yuma Proving Grounds. Thank you. Okay. Be here till further notice. Dumbasses. No, man. And then, you'll remark on some of these arrogant doctors, I do behavioral sciences. I do the narcissist files. And, Rockefeller told me, they'll gladly kill over me and you're going, in meditation and prayer. And then people like, well, you have voices in your head. Yes, past, present, future operate at the same time. I'm the guy from the book of Revelation. Lots of people are going to talk to me. I don't spend my day constantly talking to them. Because life's eternal and grace is infinite. How much can Jesus help you if you're being chemically poisoned by the people at Halliburton and NASA? Okay. And he can just say, hey, get through it, buddy. I'm not going to go to the corporations that sit around and watch me be poisoned to keep their jobs. And, they went to medical school for 8 years to cut people up, put them back into the salt mines and have them say, God, thank you for Dr. Noah Wiley. He's the most famous doctor in the history of the world. I thought it was the guy who played Father Knows Best. What was his name again? I can't remember. He was also in a Charlie Chan movie when he was younger. With Bela Lugosi, right? Who was Dracula, but he was a psychic who was catching somebody who killed one of his relatives in the Charlie Chan movie, right? With Warner Oland. Yeah, there you go. And Warner Oland ain't Chinese, but he was pretending, well, you need the money, right? So it's fucked. It's very fucked. Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, we're going to keep dealing with this. I'm going to drink water. Better out than in, like Suzuki always tells me. And, and then we'll try to get to where we can sleep and get rest, because that's very necessary. And ever since, Tracy came by, the sleep was hard to come by. Well, she's Hurricane Patrice. I love her, but she's, I swear, I swear, if you guys are still money grubbing, believing dumbasses and stuff, you would have, Lawrence Lewis Bowen canonized. I used to tell everybody that too. Saint Punchy. Right? He's been with my sister 37 years. Yeah, that man should be canonized. He's very patient and very kind and very calm. Yeah. And she took him in and protected him with her money and stuff when he was in need. And he ain't left since. They've had to deal with, crap and crap and crap and crap and crap and crap and crap, and they're two tough kids, I love them both. Punchy's one of my better friends. Yeah, he's a good man. I love him. His sister, one of the best friends you could ever have. Yeah, yeah. I said that to Patrice. So you got to be a good friend. It's like, yeah, I understand that. That's why after Michelle was murdered by those assholes that came and fronted on me at Halliburton and all the little, groups and stuff in Cochise County at Fort Huachuca, she came to me in prayer and calmed me down because it was getting very abusive and very crappy. And, I had that thing where, you got nothing to lose. And I'll just go to Arizona, I had that thought process, And she talked to me. Someone else would have done it too, but it was nice to give Michelle the opportunity. Now you can't go to Arizona and snap John McCain's head and the rest of the assholes that mocked you at Fort Huachuca, saying we can't get anybody to do anything they don't want to do, and we can program other people like we're going to program a video game. Okay, they killed somebody who stuck up for you to make everybody else go hide under the coffee table, but is that going to help you live the Lord's Prayer? No. God damn, this is hard. Well, life's eternal, grace is infinite. It's not a tiptoe through the tulips, Tiny Tim. Yeah. Thank you for buying my first album. Things that bother you never bother me. I'm just happy and gay, living in the sunlight. I'm not Tiny Tim. That man was fucking batshit crazy and kind of creepy. Okay. When I was a kid, he plays a ukulele and he's weird, mother. It's funny. It's amusing and very disturbing and creepy at the same time. Anybody else, Tiny Tim? Seriously? You're kind of like, do you want to be? No, I don't want to be anywhere alone with that man, and I don't want to go anywhere with him. He reminds me of the guy with the long nose and the candy on Chi Chi Bang Bang. Okay. Only with a friendlier voice and a ukulele. Yeah. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah, he did. I'm the Pied Piper. Trust in me, and I'll show you where it's at. When you're weary, feeling small, tears are in your eyes. Are you sure that everything that glitters is gold? Right? That's what Smash Mouth said. Okay, so I'm going to run the rat race? Let's hope so. Let's hope there's money in that locker when you get up to Silver City. Oh, shutting up, Rabbit. You're funny. I know. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. Let's load this up. Let's help make the Gospels publicly accessible so we can... globally correct programming errors and artificial intelligence that affect the effectiveness of quantum computing. Okay, you don't think that's happening? Well, you're a professional who labels people, and your money's more valuable and important than my time, and you really think the quantum computing is going to buy that shit? It can do history, science, and math better than you. And trust me, I know I'm better than Brian Cox. Quirk me this and quirk me that. Smaller than a quirk. Your self-esteem. Okay? Let's work on that. Okay, guys? I love you. All right. Peace out. Things can only get better? Yes. When you globally apply the physics of the Lord's Prayer and share it with your invention and stop abusing each other with your egos and your invention, things can only get better. It applies in physics. Feynman was kind of an ass. Still is. And so are his disciples. Or minions. Let's call them minions. Barbarian, a barbarian. Okay, that's a funny show. Let's make ridiculous, gratuitous violence through cartoon characters and show it to children. We've been doing that for a long time. Why stop now? Okay, I love you guys, man. Peace out.